emergency. Rivers CSO doubts capacity of State Electoral Commission to conduct elections. Governors assure organized labor of better minimum wage. National Films Censors Board to arrest kit makers, music producers who release unclassified content. And on the foreign scene, tight security as more Kenyan protest expected today. I'm Ifichuku Moyele with the news. Now, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says the failed detonation of an explosive device inside Hotel Presidential on Tuesday was an attempt to justify the call for a state of emergency in the state. Governor Fubara said this when the Senate Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, led by Senator Ojuzo Kalu, paid him a visit at the Government House on Wednesday. He said the failed attack targeted the facility, which was accommodating high-profile individuals, including members of the Senate Committee, to portray Rivers State as unsafe.
Yesterday, while they are aware you were here, there was an attempt to create heavy problem. In fact, there was a plan to dynamite the presidential hotel because you were there. The idea was when you were hearing state of emergency, is so that but when people are sitting tomorrow, they will say somebody from this state who called you people to tell you not to come will now raise issue of state of emergency. After distinguished colleagues, when people went to Rivers State, what happened? You know everything that's happening. And you know it. You know it. Everybody knows. What we're doing is to defend ourselves.
Governor Fubara also said the political crisis in the state is an in-house fight about control.
It's painful because this situation is not a situation of two opposition, two enemies. It's just an in-house fight of control. Control of what? Nothing. You can only sit on one seat. You can't sit on two. You can only be in one room at a time. As we are here, I can't be here and also be in the other section. So what are we fighting for? Vanity. And at the end, vanity.
The state governor also said he is not fighting anyone.
Where on earth can 10 of the local government chairmen be located? Is it that the constitution that governs Nigeria is different from the one that operates in Rivers State? Why should it be that when it comes to the case of Rivers State, the law is always silent? Is it that there is somebody bigger than Nigeria? In this Federal Republic of Nigeria, I don't think there is any governor that can take 10% of what I have tolerated in this state. And I know that all those things are distraction. So I need to focus on the ball.
Now, in his speech, the chairman, Senate Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, Senator Ojuzo Kalu, said they were in Rivers State to carry out oversight duties on some projects within their area of coverage. Senator Kalu commended Governor Fubara for his love for peace and determination to offer quality governance. He, however, urged the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to sheathe his sword and call his supporters to order as a commitment to fostering peace and putting the interests of the state first. Moving on, as the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission (RISIEC) begins the process for the conduct of local government elections in the state on 1st July, spokesman of civil society organizations in the state, Solomon Leno, has raised some concerns. Mr. Leno tells correspondent Yobi Oluwari that the commission will need to show proof of their sincerity following their sudden plan to conduct elections.
I doubt if he's here to serve the purpose of Rivers people. We've witnessed situation where impose or compel them to do an election even when there was no arrangement from the state government, even when they were not prepared, just to score a political point or just to ensure that they create crisis in the system. For RISEC to do is to conduct an election that will be free, fair, credible and acceptable by all parties and all Rivers people. From hindsight, you can see that RISEC does not have all it takes to run any election.
Mr. Leno also urged RISIEC to remain neutral and independent.
Elders, time for religious leaders to pray for sanity of our sons and daughters who have been hypnotized politically. They have not appealed. Rather, what they did was to go and file the leave of the court to be part of the suit. The application on the leave to be part of the suit, CA/PH/137M. I'm not a lawyer, but the truth is that M means is miscellaneous, and that leave has not been granted by the Court of Appeal. So in the eyes of law and civilization, there are people who are outside the room, but they are pretending to have enjoyed the happenings in the room. Magistrate Samuel will also approach the court, apply for a leave to be part of that suit.
Elsewhere, some residents of Port Harcourt are calling on the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC) to investigate supermarkets and shops for allegedly selling expired product. Speaking with our correspondent, they expressed concern for the health risk associated with consuming such product. The residents accused some supermarkets of deliberately selling expired product.
I went to a supermarket like that to buy some things. I did not check on expiring dates. It's when I get home, when I start using that thing and I see that it has expired. I don't return it, but I learned my lesson there that when next I want to buy something like that, I will have to check the expiring date first. Those business people, some normally do it intentionally because they don't want them to lose the money they used to buy those things. I beg LCCP that they should please go into the markets, check the goods they are selling. In that they too can help us.
Some we go and buy without checking the expiring date. Some we eat it and we cause damage on their body. But what is there is that government should do something about it.
I feel bad when I buy an expired goods, especially when I don't know. If I know it, I will not.
Now, in its response, the Assistant Director of Consumer and Business Education for the FCCPC South-South Zone, Emeka Ayawo, assured that the Commission will take action against those selling expired goods.
It is laxity on the part of the service provider to allow any expired product to be on the shelf. Therefore, FCCPC frowns as such. And if Quality Assurance Department or Surveillance and Investigation Unit goes out and finds such a thing, it is instantly being confiscated. The penalties are enormous. If one is found wanting, he or she is being prosecuted and pays as much as 10 to 100 million naira fine. Sometimes as well, the service provider and the directors might as well be prosecuted.
Away from that, some residents of Port Harcourt say continuous trainings and retrainings for security operatives will reduce the issue of torture and other forms of inhumane treatment by security operatives in the country. Their response came as the world marked the International Day in support of victims of torture on Wednesday.
It's not just to say it. We need actions. There have been a lot of things that have been said in this country that have not materialized. We lack laws that will help to forestall all this.
Normally, we know Nigeria is like we don't take laws serious, and most higher places just do whatever they like. And the constitution of Nigeria is not really functioning as it's supposed to be. This police brutality stuff should have been like cuffed. They should have taken actions on it just to stop it, because it's just getting worse day by day. But they don't seem to be doing anything concerning it.
Who is the body that will question them or put them to correct them or say what they are doing is wrong? Nobody is there. Even the places that are duty bound to check police or check their activities, all of them are doing their job.
Yesterday, the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Justice, Beatrice Jeni-Agba, condemned inhumane treatment by security operatives in Nigeria. In a statement, she emphasized the need for unified action against torture perpetrators to foster a more humane society. She also affirmed Nigeria's commitment to combating torture in compliance with international obligations under the United Nations Convention Against Torture. Still to come, governors assure organized labor of better minimum wage. Stay with us. You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Senate and House representatives will reconvene today from their Salah break. Now, the chairman of the Senate Committees on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, said in a statement that the resumption of plenary has become necessary to enable the lawmakers to attend to urgent national and constitutional issues and to carry out further oversight on the implementation of the Appropriation Act 2024. As you may know, the National Assembly was to resume on July 2nd, but will now hold an emergency sitting this morning. In business, the Nigeria Governors Forum, NGF, has assured Nigerians and the organized labor of a better minimum wage amid ongoing negotiations. Recall that the governors had rejected the federal government's proposal of 62,000 naira, stating that some states would need to borrow to pay salaries. Now, despite this, the organized labor has continued to demand a wage of 250,000 naira. However, the governors held an emergency meeting after the Federal Executive Council postponed the minimum wage discussion on Tuesday to allow President Bola Tinubu to conduct broader consultations. A communique released after the emergency meeting signed by the NGF Acting Director, Media Ahmed Salihu, said they agreed to continue engaging with key stakeholders to reach a mutually acceptable solution over the new minimum wage. Now straight to entertainment. The National Films and Videos Censors Board, NFVCB, says it's an offense to release skits, films, or music videos without obtaining classification from the board. Executive Director of the board, Shaibu Hussaini, in a statement warned content creators against distributing unclassified skits, films, or music videos. Now, he said the board is now collaborating with security agencies to identify and prosecute filmmakers who violate this regulation. The NFVCB issues a certificate of censorship for all films and video works reviewed by its in-house committee, with the classification or rating indicated on the certificate. Now, the classification symbols and ratings include G for general exhibition, PG for content intended for children under parental guidance, C for films specifically for children, 12 for content not recommended for children under 12 years, 12A indicating no one under 12 may enter a cinema unless accompanied by an adult, 15 for content not recommended for persons under 15, and 18 for mature audiences only. And now straight to sports. Napoli's new coach Antonio Conte has confirmed Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen's desire to leave the club this summer. Mr. Conte confirmed this while speaking at a summit alongside the club's president.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
Kenyan police have used tear gas to scatter protesters assembling in Nairobi's capital. Security forces, including the military, are heavily deployed, and roads near key buildings are blocked in anticipation of the demonstrations. This follows deadly protests 2 days earlier where 22 people reportedly died amid uproar over tax increases, culminating in a fire at part of Parliament. Yesterday, President William Ruto withdrew the controversial finance bill that led to the protests.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Governor Fulbara says the failed IED detonation was an attempt to justify calls for a state of emergency. Now, River State CSO has expressed doubt over the capacity of the State Electoral Commission to conduct elections. Governors have assured the organized labor of better minimum wage. A National Film Censors Board says it will arrest kit makers and music producers who release unclassified content. And on the foreign scene, tight security as more Kenyan protests expected today. The news was edited by Constance Mega. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifichuku Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.